Sometimes when it comes to tax matters, you need a little help dealing with the IRS. It can be in the form of an attorney, accountant, tax professional, or even a trusted close family member. When you want one of these people to speak for your interests at the IRS, you must file a form with the IRS that gives them a limited power of attorney and declares them to be able to represent you. I'm the Tax Geek, and here's Form 2848, oversimplified. This is Form 2848, Power of Attorney and Declaration of Representative. It allows certain persons other than the taxpayer to communicate directly with and represent the taxpayer in front of the IRS without the taxpayer being present. Only certain people can be appointed as your representative. Any attorney, certified public accountant, or enrolled agent can be appointed. If a tax professional prepared your return and participates in the annual filing season program, they can represent you as well. Just so you know, an enrolled agent can represent any taxpayer, whether or not they originally prepared the return in question. Becoming one involves passing 3 special enrollment examinations and agreeing to abide by Circular 230, which is the official ethics guide for tax professionals. Certain former IRS employees can also be enrolled agents. The annual filing season program is a program that allows tax professionals who are not enrolled agents to represent taxpayers whose returns they have prepared. Participants take an annual online update class and pass an annual basic competency exam. In addition to all of the persons mentioned, you can also be represented by any member of your immediate family, which can include spouses, parents or grandparents, children or grandchildren, or siblings. Form 2848 creates a very limited power of attorney that only authorizes another person to represent you. The standard authorization includes communicating with the IRS on behalf of the taxpayer, either verbally, by letter, or electronically, receiving and viewing the taxpayer's confidential tax information, and signing any documents relating to the matter except for an actual tax return or amendment. You may further restrict those authorizations, or you may authorize additional actions. If you are married and filed a joint return, each spouse must complete their own Form 2848 appointing the same person as their representative. So let's go ahead and fill out one of these forms. After Monica Flowers received this notice, she decided to get professional assistance in responding to it. She brought her notice to Chris Robertson, an enrolled agent, who prepared this Form 2848 for her to sign. This allows Chris to contact the IRS without Monica being present. Box 1 of the form contains information on the taxpayer. It's the usual name and address, social security number, and daytime phone number. In Box 2, we can list up to 4 representatives. In this case, Chris puts his name, the name of his company, and his business address. If Chris checks this box, he will receive copies of any future notices, letters, and other communications the IRS sends to this taxpayer. Chris then enters his CAF number in the space provided. CAF is short for Centralized Authorization File, which keeps track of all the Forms 2848 filed by the same person for easy access. If you are filing one of these forms for the first time and you do not have a CAF number, leave the line blank and the IRS will assign you one, which we'll use if you file any future Forms 2848. Chris already has a CAF number, so he writes it in the space. If you prepare tax returns for compensation, you must have a Preparer Tax Identification Number issued by the IRS. Chris enters his PTIN on this line. If you do not prepare tax returns for compensation, i.e. you are a family member, again, leave this line blank. The lines for telephone number and fax number, if you still have one, are pretty self-explanatory. We now go to Box 3, where we indicate what matters Chris will have power of attorney over. In Monica's case, under Description of Matter, Chris puts Federal Income Tax Matters. Under Tax Form, he puts 1040. This is always a primary tax form, such as a 1040, 941, 1120, etc. In the tax year column, although Chris could just enter the year in question, which is 2023, best practice dictates that he also enter the year before and after the year that the notice pertains to. Ask me how I know. Since we are not expanding nor limiting the standard authorizations mentioned before, we're going to skip boxes 4, 5, and 6. Box 7 is where the taxpayer signs. This must be signed, dated, and the taxpayer's name printed on the line below the signatures. Part 2 is where the representatives sign. As an enrolled agent, Chris enters C in the designation column. His licensing jurisdiction is the IRS, and his enrollment number is entered in the next column. He then signs and dates where indicated. If the representative is a family member, an F is placed in column 1, and the relationship to the taxpayer is entered in column 2. Column 3 is left blank. That completes the form. At this point, it is a good idea to review the form and make sure everything is accurate and that all mandatory fields have an answer. If you are completing the form at the IRS's Forms website, there is a handy button to click to check for common errors and omissions. Most states have a separate power of attorney form and will not accept a federal 2848. But there are a handful of states that may accept Form 2848 as a power of attorney. Forms 2848 can be submitted to the IRS in a number of different ways. They can be mailed or faxed to the IRS, or they can be uploaded to the IRS using the IRS's document upload tool. They can also be presented in an in-person meeting with IRS personnel. Fax numbers and mailing addresses can be found in the instructions to Form 2848, which will be linked in the video description along with other resources and information. If you found this video informative, please give the video a like and share it with anyone who could find it useful. Subscribe to the channel for more oversimplifications of our increasingly overcomplicated tax system. And your questions, comments, and suggestions are always welcome in the comment space below. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon with more of your taxes oversimplified.